Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of On a Heater podcast featuring myself, former professional hockey and basketball game photographer, Dashing, and my good basketball virgin friend, Kiwi. We are two idiots blundering on about sports. Hello, Kiwi. How's it going?
I'm doing great. Hey, y'all. Hope everyone is ready to get into some sports talks. A lot of news coming out this week, especially as we get closer to the start of football and hockey season. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we're jumping right in with some basketball topics today with Yabusele Gauchon signing with the Sixers after that performance in the Olympics. Honestly, he kind of killed it for France. You know, with his time with the Celtics, he really did nothing for me. As, you know, a Celtics fan, you can see my Boston heritage loud and proud through this episode as well. But, you know, coming from talking about a guy like Yabusele who was drafted by the Celtics, round 1, pick 16 in 2016, he did nothing for a long time. And now he just seemingly kind of came out of nowhere in these Olympics, and 76ers swooped in. Seems like they're giving him a shot.
Yeah, so to be honest, I forgot the 76ers were a team until I saw this news. But I do recognize Yabusele's name, and that is solely for the amount of times that they brought it up during the France and U.S. game in the Olympics. Yeah. So he definitely was a force on their team. So Hopefully he's does the same with the Sixers.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, right? Because, you know, how well does one translate to another? Because when you're looking at the Olympics, for sure, yeah, there's a lot more NBA guys in there that there used to be. And I feel like the level of talent has certainly risen from previous Olympics and, you know, previous basketball tournaments.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But how does a guy like Yabusele, who flamed out early in his career in the NBA, went overseas, played in some overseas leagues, go into the Olympics, balls out, you know, I'm wondering how well that's going to translate now that he's going back to the NBA and playing with NBA caliber talent again.
I guess that's yet to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my suggestion is he brings the rest of his French team with him and signs them to the Sixers too. Because obviously they performed pretty well, so
no shit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Geez. But yeah, so NBA, WNBA, there's sort of a catch-22 when you're sort of talking about the one. Sometimes you just got to mention the other, which, you know, this week, kind of a semi-slow week for NBA news. But we did have some cool things happen, you know, in WNBA. Namely Caitlin Clark, record-breaking, you know, assist record, breaking the rookie assist record. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. And how many more games do they have left? I think it's like 20 or something left.
Pretty decent amount, yeah.
I mean, so she's going to surpass it by a long shot now at this point. So to hit it this early in the season is definitely impressive. Speaks to her talent. And the other record that we saw broken as well speaks to Angel Reese's talent. You know, she's the fastest women's basketball player to reach 20 double-doubles in a season, which is just insane.
Mind-blowing. These young women in the WNBA right now are playing so out of their mind, and it, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna try to pander to any crowds, but you know, I didn't really watch the WNBA for a long time. I still barely watch the WNBA, but when I'm turning on ESPN or ESPN2 or whatever they're on, it's like if I see the Indiana Fever playing or like I see Angel Reese playing, I'm stopping and I'm watching, because like they are talent that brings eyes to the TV that want to see them. You know, I've actually been looking at tickets to go see them live, you know, if they come to town.
Yeah, I mean, every time I'm on TikTok, I know it's invading my feed with clips of Caitlin Clark doing whatever, or Angel Reese doing whatever, or any of the other rookies, because honestly, amazing rookie class for
insane
for the W. So I'm seeing 4, 5, 6 of them all the time coming up with just spectacular plays they're making or whatnot, or records they're breaking. So
yeah, and honestly, it's really good to see, because I feel like the WNBA kind of needs that sort of young star power, and I really hope that it sticks and it grows with just their overall brand, because a league like the WNBA definitely needs to exist. I feel like, it's been a very rocky road for them. So I really hope that this sort of turns it around for them. Um, but speaking of like younger players, speaking of like young people, switching gears a little bit. I know we kind of rapid fire through
Rapid
basketball.
fire right through basketball. There's really not that much.
Going on in the world of basketball. But speaking of young players, how about some of those starters, some rookie starters coming out of the NCAA, college
Yeah.
football, going in NFLs, and we got a slew of starters coming at us.
Yeah, so for anybody that didn't see, Bo Nix was named the starter in Denver, and Jaden Daniels was named the starter in Washington. So
Mm-hmm.
two star-studded rookies coming out of the draft and definitely balling out and ready to go.
And we might
Um,
we might get Drake May in New England as week one starter as well. It's
yeah,
unclear if that's going to be the case or not.
and I mean, obviously, as we all know, Chicago's already got their starter wrapped up because we really don't have any other quarterbacks. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, not that we really need one because I'm sure Caleb Williams is going to perform amazingly.
I think he's
But
going to be fine.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's four of the what, eight that were drafted
I
already.
I think so. And I
But
mean, on top of that, you go across the league of like young quarterbacks like Jordan Love. I mean, even throw Gardner Minshew on there, just getting the nod from Vegas. It's insane. It really blows me away that, a lot of these younger guys are sort of outpacing some of like the vets of the league. Like how many, over 30 quarterbacks are left out there? Like Kirk Cousins comes to mind.
Aaron Rodgers,
Aaron Rodgers comes to mind, although is his ACL going to hold up this year? Like
uh,
do we know how well he's going to do?
not in the preseason because he's not playing any preseason games.
Exactly.
But
And I mean, not for nothing, but like, Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh, he might not even have the job. I mean, we could even see Justin Fields end up taking over that quarterback position,
yeah,
which would be mind blowing.
that's kind of like whenever you go to plug in a USB cord and it doesn't plug in because the top's in the wrong spot, and then you flip it over and it still doesn't plug in.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening in Pittsburgh right now with their quarterbacks.
No,
So,
literally. No, literally.
and honestly, a very similar issue in Vegas too. I know Minshew is named the starter, but
Hmm.
realistically, how does he stack up to other starters in the league? I mean,
How does he stack up to other potential starters in Vegas?
well, that's true too.
Who else do they
I,
got?
I'd have to look at their depth chart. I mean, it's not great.
So, if we're looking at the quarterback roster, they got Carter Bradley and Aiden O'Connell on their and Nathan Peterman, sorry. So, Nathan Peterman, throw him out. Nothing, no offense against Peterman, but he's the Peterman. So,
He's
I
old and
mean,
he's Peterman, yeah.
yeah.
So
So, I
I
mean,
believe they
Carter
were saying that
Carter Bradley or
Aiden,
Aiden
yeah,
O'Connell. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I think they were saying that Aiden O'Connell had the second best opportunity to take the starting role.
Right.
So I
And
mean, and he's relatively young, I believe.
he's 25 years old, 6'3", so he's 2 inches taller than Gardner Minshew. And I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
and last year was his first season, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. So
exactly.
not great, not great. I mean,
Not
obviously the
great, but
leaders,
he's got experience though. And I think that's
right?
what sort of matters to Vegas right now is that they were going with Gardner Minshew because of experience, I feel like.
Right, because he's entering his sixth season now. He played two with the Jags, two with the Eagles, and then one with the Colts.
Mhm.
Obviously was I believe he was the starting quarterback for Indianapolis all year, correct?
I
Or most of the year, once Anthony
most of the
Richardson
year.
went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and he was 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
He
Still had
was
3,300 yards. So I mean, he
serviceable.
was
Serviceable.
definitely somebody to get that poorly locked out team through that season.
The Colts were
Um,
definitely in a bind. They definitely ran into a lot of troubles last year, and I mean, I feel like this season they're definitely going to turn it around. But Anthony Richardson going down definitely did not help them. It definitely did not aid them. But Gardner Minshew was serviceable in that role, and I feel like for the Vegas Raiders, who were sort of in this kind of flux of just absolute baloney going on around their organization of like, You gonna hang on to a player that's actually quality? You gonna lose some players that are quality? You gonna sign some players that are quality? It's like a huge mix with the
Right.
Vegas Raiders, and I am a little concerned for their well-being in the AFC West with the rest of those teams in there. So
Right.
I guess we'll
Well, I mean,
see.
yeah, so obviously Kansas City is a powerhouse over there. We're seeing um not San Diego anymore. Jeez. Los Angeles coming up now with a new coaching system, a new quarterback, they're ready
I think
to.
they're going to be underratedly good. The
Oh yes.
LAC,
That
LAC,
definitely they're definitely
underrated.
going to be a sneaky wild card team for
I
sure.
think so.
And then obviously now the Broncos, they've more or less are pulling themselves out of the rebuild now. They have a brand new, fresh starting quarterback in Bo Nix.
Hmm.
They're finally getting away from hopefully their terrible, terrible quarterback luck over the last year since Peyton Manning left.
Yeah, they've had some shite luck, that's for sure. But I mean, with Bo Nix coming in, like we were talking about, young guys who have been outpacing veterans. We said that last week. And, I think that a guy like Bo Nix, he did pretty decent in the NCAA, in college football. And I think that he's got some translation. I think we're going to see a few hiccups early in the season. But I think overall, I think that he's going to be a good quarterback.
I'm trying to even see who is the rest of the quarterbacks on Denver's roster. Let's see here. Bo
Ooh,
Nix, Jarrett Stidman, and Zach Wilson. So he
yeah,
beat out Zach Wilson for the
easy.
starting job.
And
Which obviously, yeah,
Stidham's a backup, career backup.
yeah. I mean, that's your third stringer there for forever.
Yeah,
Because I don't foresee Zach Wilson losing the second spot, even though he's not great.
yeah. Zach Wilson. Sorry, not sorry, but he is not good. He is not a starter in the league. He ruined that Jets locker room for sure. I think that he is definitely a career backup as well. So I think that that's Bo Nix's job to lose, if I had to be
Oh yeah,
honest.
definitely, definitely. And I mean, he's an amazing talent. Obviously, they drafted him for a reason. So,
Mm-hmm.
the Denver picked what? They picked. Where did they pick? They moved up, correct? They took Vikings pick.
I think so. I think
I
so.
believe they traded with the Vikings to move up to pick him. So,
I think
I
so.
think that ended up being around 11. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong.
Possibly.
Somewhere in there. It was like 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, I believe. 9, maybe even.
I think it might have been a top 10. Nope. 12. 12.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I thought that the Vikings had 12 before they traded.
Yep.
So, yeah, so obviously that's gonna be it'd be interesting to see all the fresh blood slinging some touchdowns or interceptions this year, I guess, depending on
For
how
sure.
it goes. But what will also be interesting to see is when Tyreek Hill proves that he is the fastest man in the world.
Oh my god. This whole conversation is so silly. I really hate when people in different sports sort of chirp back at each other. Like I get it. Competitiveness, like stay in your own lane. Noah Lyles definitely started reaching first with like the NBA guys going to the Olympics at the champions of what? That whole thing.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
I don't know really what sort of sparked Tyreek Hill to go after Noah Lyles, other than Noah sort of throwing hands with the USA leagues, sports leagues. But Noah Lyles did say that he would be down for the race. He would do it, as long as there's sponsors. Um, it has to be legit. He's not looking to do any sort of like backyard racing sort of
Yeah, they're
thing.
not gonna go run out on the football field in Miami and
Yeah, no, he
run
no
a.
Noah Lyles said he's not about that. He wants it to be legit, and he said he's out there trying to prove that he's the fastest man in the world, which he did do in the 100 meter, in the Olympics. But Tyreek Hill trying to be one of the greatest football players ever, at wide receiver. Still got a I feel like he's still got a long way to go to prove that, but
Oh, Oh yeah.
just from what Noah's saying, like I'm trying to be the fastest in the world, you're trying to be the best in the world, one trying to outbest the other. I think that could be a cool sort of charity event if that they could
Oh yeah,
pull that
definitely,
off,
definitely.
Tyreek Hill versus
Definitely
Noah
do a
Lyles.
charity event, and I'm sure that they would love to do that.
Yeah.
Probably something kids related, since we know how Tyreek is. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, but yeah. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be a 50-meter race, if I read that correctly, which is kind of odd, but honestly, it makes sense since I think they do the 40-meter dash at the combine, right?
I believe so. I believe they do a
Yeah.
40.
So, and then obviously Noah does 100 and 200.
Mm-hmm.
So
You did see
I feel like,
correctly about a 50. You did see
yeah,
correct.
so 50 seems like a good middle ground. I'm not quite sure why so many people are confused about it,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Did you see the video of them comparing Tyreek Hill's speed
High
to the
school.
2016? Oh no, to the 2016 Rio Olympic 200
Yeah,
meter?
yeah. It was his high school time that they were comparing.
Yeah, so he would have finished like third or fourth
Something like that.
behind Usain
Yeah.
at the 2016 Olympics. So I mean,
Um,
that's impressive.
that is impressive overall. And I mean, not for nothing, I think that it would be something to watch, but I do know that Noah Lyles did say that they would be doing a full 100, they wouldn't be doing a 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Tyreek, obviously he suggested the 50, but Noah said the 100, which I'm sure
That's fair.
you know,
I mean,
it's
but
not a big.
I feel like Noah has a lot of finishing speed and Tyreek is more of a acceleration kind of
He's a
runner,
burst. Yes, very much a burst
which
runner. Yeah.
is which I think is Hill would do great in the 50. I think Noah does way better in the 100.
Right. Right. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, 100's not really out of his realm since that's
No,
basically the football field, anyways.
that
And he,
bread and
we've
butter.
seen him run for, we've seen him run for long touchdowns before. So
Yeah, no, for
definite,
sure.
definitely not out of his
Toolbox.
toolbox. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
no
That's the word
worries.
I was looking for.
Shifting gears a little bit, going back a little because we were just talking about the Colts. It just sort of brought back some news that we had seen that Jelani Woods turf toe likely out for the season. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a big loss for them. But big surprise, an injury-ridden Indianapolis, as they've
Starts
always
up. It
been.
starts up. It just
Uh,
comes out.
Hopefully, this is like the only injury they have, major injury that they have for the season, because it's about time that the Colts see another good season.
They need it. They need a good season.
Somebody's got to give the Texans some competition.
I know. We can't just have the Texans running all over the AFC South like that again. Can't have it. As much
It's
as I
just
like the Texans, I can't have it.
because obviously the Titans are the seniors club now at this
They
point.
Yeah, I feel like the Titans are kind of like, the older sort of they're good, but they're not good, middling team, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like they're
and
going to be
then
sub 500, maybe like a 7-9 range.
my brain is even escaping me on who the fourth team in that division is.
It's the Jaguars.
Oh my gosh, duh, duh. Well, obviously, well, yeah, we'll see how the Jaguars do this year. It
Oh yeah, for sure.
could be
For sure.
anything. They're one of those question mark teams every year. So
Yeah, they are either phenomenal or they just absolutely suck dirt. So,
right,
you know,
exactly. So
low end.
hopefully this is it for the Colts, and hopefully Woods has a speedy recovery here. I know turf toe's no joke. So yeah, I mean you got to get that taken care of, or that's your career right
That's
there.
it. Yeah. Which
So
is hilarious when you think about it. Like toe injuries, it's like,
oh yeah.
what are we doing?
But I mean, especially somebody in his position,
Yeah, yeah.
they need that balance. They
They
need
need
that
it.
strength in their feet.
They need it. Yeah, it's big for them. But
So
yeah, no, that's it's a big loss if he's gone for the whole year for the Colts. Which, I mean, it's not gonna kill them. They're not gonna be on their heels all season from losing just Jelani Woods. But it's definitely gonna be a missing piece in their defense that they absolutely need.
they'll still be the 8 and 9 7-10 Colts that they almost always are. So
Sorry, I said defense. I meant offense.
oh yeah,
Tight end.
right, right. And then I guess just some other housekeeping stuff for football this week. Your previous head cheese, Mr. Bill Belichick, plans on coaching next year.
He's old, man. He wants that record. He wants that coaching win record. He wants it so bad. He's willing to just, old as dirt. No idea what my obsession with dirt is today, but he is old. He needs to just retire. Belichick, I love you, but my guy, please, just wrap it up. Just go. It's fine. You're in second comfortably. I don't think any coach is coming close anytime soon. I think you're good, my guy. I know you want to be number one before you die, but good God. It's time.
It's
time.
This rate, he's trying to coach until he dies.
No, literally.
So, who knows where he'll end up? I guess we'll see who the first firings are this year, and they'll go from there. Obviously, I can't even think of who's going to be
hot pick right off the rip here. It's going to be the Vikings.
Really?
I think it's going to be the Vikings. I don't know what tells me that it's going to be the Vikings, but every fiber of my being is saying Minnesota.
When's the last time that Tennessee's fired their coach?
You think that'll go to Tennessee?
I could see it.
Honestly, I think that Tennessee might be a good pick there to drop off to. Yeah.
Tennessee. I could also see Jacksonville as well.
Yeah, I could see if Jacksonville has a really bad season, I think that they could probably go as well.
It might even join the carousel over in Vegas too. Who knows?
Good God, that would be
yearly. They're such
that would be. What would actually be really funny if he went and coached in Tampa.
Oh jeez. Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
What a turn of events that would be.
Could you imagine?
What if he goes to Tampa and they win a Super Bowl?
Could you imagine Bill Belichick calling plays?
Holy crap.
To freaking... Oh my God, I can't even. Baker Mayfield. Could you imagine that?
Baker, money maker. You want to know what's funny about that is when Baker was coming up in the draft, the Patriots were trying to move up to get him.
Oh, jeez.
But then the Browns drafted him, So they thought the Browns were going to go in a different direction, and they were going to move up and go get him.
That's just insane.
Wild. Imagine.
That just hurts. That hurts my head to think. Moving on. Dipping into a little bit of golf today. Jason Kelce confirmed by Adam Sandler to be make an appearance on Happy Gilmore 2.
Interesting. So I'm just gonna say it. I don't like the Eagles, but that has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. I've always disliked the Eagles.
No. Jason Kelce. Oh, I'm sorry. Travis Kelce.
Okay.
I missed it.
I was about to say.
Travis Kelce.
I was like, really? Is Jason? No. I thought it was Travis, but okay. Yeah, okay.
No, Jason's got a whole nother gig he's doing.
My statement still stands. Travis Kelce, I just he's not my cup of tea. And you know what? Everybody's going to point at me and go, Dashing, you're a Patriots fan. You guys had Gronk for how many years? And let me tell you what, I didn't like how Gronk acted either. So take that to the bank. I feel like the party animal, just kind of jabroni act is just play football, guys. Just play football. That's all I want. I don't want any this other stuff that they do off screen. It's fine if he wants to go
for retirement.
Exactly.
And your sponsored ads.
Exactly, like Gronk spiking freaking things like crazy all over the place.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's all he does. But Travis Kelce getting in Happy Gilmore 2, getting his acting career going, good for him. maybe he has a career post football if he does good enough, you know. But
We'll see.
we'll see.
And I guess we'll see if Taylor Swift makes an appearance too. Who knows?
I've been hearing rumors that they might be on the splits soon, but I don't know. I
Oof.
don't know how true that is. You know, with the rumor mill of the internet going around.
We'll see
But
how much Roger offers Taylor to stay in a relationship with him.
yeah, no,
Keep the
literally,
ratings up.
no, literally.
Oh my gosh.
Good God. But shifting back to some of our, four major sports. I used to be a professional photographer for a hockey team back in my day, back in my youth, my college youth. Um, I know pretty good things about hockey, Kiwi. I know you're a massive hockey fan.
Yeah.
However, I am not a St. Louis Blues fan. You are. And they are making waves. And you are going to need to educate me on what the hell is going on in St. Louis. What are they doing? Because it seems like every single time I turn my phone on, it's a message from you going, the Blues are insane. What the heck is going on? What are they doing? And I'm like, I've been seeing the news. I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, to be fair, whenever the Bruins were making a lot of moves, I was probably also sending those messages too as well.
But I was
yeah,
seeing and understanding those. This
yeah.
is all over the place.
So basically, more or less, obviously the Blues won the Cup in 19, and 20 was the shortened season for COVID. We were good, but not great. Ever since then, we've kind of been in that retooling phase, not necessarily a full rebuild, but that retooling phase. So this year in the off season, our good GM Doug Armstrong, which everybody loves, especially at this point, has been making crazy amount of moves. So we've been signing forwards and defensemen left and right. We've been trading like crazy. And obviously, as we talked about last week, the Blues double offer sheeted the Oilers for forward Holloway and defenseman Broberg.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
and they got him.
right. So they essentially the Oilers had 7 days to match the offer sheets and keep the players.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was they offer sheeted them on Tuesday.
Yep.
Not this most recent Tuesday. That would have been. Let me get the date here so I don't mess anything up. They would have offer sheeted them on the 13th, Tuesday the 13th.
Yep.
And it was in the evening as well, so they did not have the chance to. The Oilers didn't have the chance to really react right away. In that time, I believe it was Friday, the Oilers did trade a 4th round that they had gotten from Ottawa to Vancouver for Pod Coulson. A pretty young forward. I think actually maybe even had just had his rookie season. Yeah, I was going to say I think he just had his rookie season. He came up a little bit late, I believe.
He did. Yeah,
maybe he's been in a couple of years. I can't remember exactly, but
137 career games. So
okay, so that was his second year. So he's played 2 years. Yeah. So they traded for him, and everybody's thinking, okay, that's probably the Holloway replacement. They're going to let Holloway go. They're going to sign Broberg. Still kind of some questions there on cap space, what they're going to do. Come Monday, most of the country woke up to the San Jose Sharks bailing out the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
By sending Emberson,
24 years old.
Right, a young defenseman. Actually, I don't even know. He might be in the AHL right now, I believe.
He has 30 games played to his name in the NHL.
Yeah, so he played a little bit towards the end of the season. But he's relatively brand new to the majors here.
Yeah.
So they traded him for Cody Ceci, obviously a large cap space on the Oilers roster. Good player, not really worth his money though, and a 3rd round as well to Edmonton.
That money.
So basically just a relief, cap relief there trade. Can't believe that San Jose tried to bail him out like that.
San Jose handed them the freaking cake
especially with what San Jose is trying to do with get out of their rebuild as
Hmm.
steadily and as quickly as possible. I feel like Cody CC is just not. I mean, it may work out if he gets through the last 2 years of his contract, and then they can maybe sign him for a little bit cheaper. I mean, he's definitely a great defenseman, definitely a great fifth, sixth defenseman.
He'll probably re-sign with the cap amount that he's at. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah,
I think
that
he'll
or
I think he'll come around and just re-sign at the same amount.
might only do like a 1 or 2 year deal with
Yeah,
that same amount,
yeah.
just kind of hop, skip, and jump to retirement there.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that was basically through Monday, and everybody's holding their breath till Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern in the morning, waiting to see what's going to happen. But ultimately, Edmonton decided to decline the offer sheets,
Insane,
both of them.
insane.
So they received the second round pick, and the third round pick in compensation
Hmm.
from the Blues, and they came out and said that essentially they made the Cody Cece trade because they wanted a little bit of flexibility for midseason, just a little bit of extra cap room. Obviously, they still have a Leon Draisaitl extension that they need to sign that they didn't mention, but everybody knows it's looming there.
Hmm.
Um, so they didn't have too much money to spend, anyways. But also some other interesting news as well. But Philippe Broberg's agent went in a press conference after he was officially a St. Louis Blue.
Hmm.
He said that there was actually multiple teams that had prepared to offer sheet Broberg, but the Blues snuck in
Really?
first,
Wow. Wow.
which
That's
is just
actually
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. So definitely, he only played, I believe it was 10 games in the
Hmm.
fine in the playoffs this past year, and that's been it. He really didn't do much during the season, but he had 10. He had like an amazing playoff run, so a lot of teams were interested. Thought he's maybe coming to his own,
Hmm.
ready to pick him up for a cheap price and amazing talent. So
I am blown away. Edmonton made all the right moves at the right times and still let these two player goes. It
except for buying out Darnell Nurse.
yeah. Like I just I'm so flabbergasted that the Blues basically robbed them blind for a second and third round pick.
So yes, well, yeah, exactly. And I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but the the offer sheets were placed so strategically that if they would have been $1 more
Hmm.
for each of those players, it would
Hmm.
have went up a threshold in picks. So it would have been a first round or a second round instead.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was
Wow.
definitely very,
Oh
very
my god.
strategic.
What a good RFA get for the Blues though.
Oh yeah,
What a
absolutely.
really good RFA get to pick. You
But
know.
now the question begs, we'll transition a little bit into the Oilers here. So and actually one more little move they made right after the offer sheets were declined and all that news came out. In a strange move from the Blues,
Mhm.
we traded a AHL Fisher
Yep.
and a third round pick to the Oilers for future considerations.
Interesting.
It was
So
almost like a little apology trade.
a little scratch your back after kicking you in the nuts.
Right, exactly, exactly. So obviously those future considerations could be anything. We could get an amazing AHL player
Mhm.
out of that in the future. It could be, it could be anybody. It's basically up to St. Louis's discretion. They come to the Edmonton and they say, "Hey, we want him," and they can basically take whoever they want.
Right.
So
Right.
the future considerations might pay off sooner than later. We'll just have to see on that one.
See how it goes.
But now the issue for the Edmonton Oilers is they are very light on
Oof.
defensemen now.
They are very light on defense, but I mean, their offense is still elite. I think they do
Oh
have an
yes,
elite
absolutely.
offense. I think that they can get away with having a lighter defense, and their goaltending is okay. Their goaltending is fine. So I think that maybe we see one or two moves. Dump some of these draft picks that they just picked up, move some cap around, and I think honestly they might be okay this season.
Yeah, so it's looking like right now, their 1-2 is going to be Nurse and Bouchard.
Mm-hmm. Not
3,
bad.
4, you're looking at maybe Ekholm Kulak, maybe Ekholm Brown.
Okay.
And then your 5, 6 would be either Kulak Emberson or Brown Emberson.
Right.
So, I mean, not terrible. Obviously, Emberson, they picked up from San Jose. He's
Right.
a good player.
Young guy.
Um,
Really young
young guy,
guy.
definitely guy.
20, 24,
So
like we
we'll
said.
see.
Yeah.
But we will see. They also have a pending Bouchard extension coming up
They
next
do.
season.
They
I know that
do.
we forgot to mention that last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So we will
I think it all
we'll
washes,
see
though.
what
I think it all
yeah,
washes.
we'll see what goes
Think
with
that I
that.
think that
But
team is going to be just fine.
oh yeah, I mean that offense. As long as that offense is firing on all cylinders and
Yeah.
Skinner stands on his head and net every other night,
Yeah.
they'll still be fine. They're gonna have to win a lot of games 6-3,
Yeah.
5-3, big
Probably.
high scoring games to really secure a good place. But come playoffs, it's gonna be tough again.
Yeah. But I mean, speaking of all these moves, that's going on in the NHL and all the trades, all the waves, all the RFA signings, Ryan Johansson,
I think it's Johansson. Yeah.
Johansson, breach of contract. I don't think I've ever seen that happen in the
Yeah. So,
NHL.
so this is an interesting case. And actually, I realize now that there's another point that we can build off of this afterwards. Um, yeah. So essentially, when he was sent to Philly from Colorado,
Yep.
um, there was an issue with his injury being reported or not fully reported, something similar to
Yeah.
those lines.
They tried to
Um,
place him in the AHL, but his contract, there was something about injuries.
right. So there was kind of a gray area there, and it seems that Philadelphia feels like they were essentially
Hoodwinked.
hoodwinked. Yes, yes. Great. Not necessarily Shanghai, but yes.
Yeah.
Very, very much had the wool pulled over their eyes on that a little bit. So yeah, so they placed him on waivers. I believe that was Wednesday,
Yes.
and
I believe so.
and he cleared this morning. So that $4 million in cap that he was worth is off of the books for Philadelphia. Now that his contract will be terminated. But Johansson and his agent obviously are filing for a grievance with the Players Association to try and get some of his money out of it, I guess, because I doubt they're going to let him go back and play there. So,
Well, so here's the weird thing about this whole situation, right? So Danny Briere, the GM for the Flyers, I love that guy, by the way. Danny
oh
Briere
yeah,
is one of my favorite NHL players of all
oh
time
yeah,
when he was playing.
he's great.
I freaking love Danny Briere. But, they had known that he was injured when they were making the trade. So they sent him to the doctors, but they didn't know how severe it was. My question for the Flyers and Danny Briere, honestly, if you knew he was injured, why'd you trade for him? What are you doing?
Well, yeah. I mean,
If you don't know the extent of the injury, or you tell Colorado, send him to a doctor and show me that he is healthy to play or move down to the
right,
AHL before I trade
right,
for him. I'm not trading for a guy who's potentially got season-ending injury before he even touches the ice for me. No way.
right. Exactly,
No way.
exactly. The only thing I can think of is that they probably estimated his recovery time incorrectly, and
Yeah.
that's what Philadelphia believed, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where they went through. And then whenever it came back, oh, he's out for the season or whatever,
Yeah.
instead of the 4 weeks that we told you,
Right.
it's
Whoops. Sorry.
definitely can see why Philadelphia feels a little hurt about it. Definitely can see why Johansson feels a little hurt about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an interesting situation to see how it plays out. So I have to keep our eye on that for sure.
It's gonna be kind of a precarious situation because the Flyers lost Sean Walker in a 5th round draft pick, and they got a useless player Not saying Ryan Johnson is useless, but like for the season he's useless.
Right.
You know, they can't
Exactly.
use him. So they Avalanche basically just walked away with the Flyers lunch money on this one.
Right. And yeah, now, Philadelphia is basically $4 million out,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
for a season. Well, I mean, if he was if he was on the IR, I guess not necessarily, but
Right.
the
Right.
LTIR. But I mean, they're out their money, they're out their player, they're out their pick
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
nothing to show for it. And
No,
obviously, we know
exactly.
that the Flyers are definitely one of those middle contender teams that are trying to fight for a playoff spot.
Yep.
So they're going to want, their money's worth for their trade essentially, and they're just not getting it. So
Yeah.
definitely a little bit of drama going on there. And I mean, that's not the only drama we had this week, too.
No.
Askarov are the AHL goalie for the Nashville Predators. I believe he plays up in Milwaukee, I want to say. He doesn't want to be in Nashville anymore. Well, to put it a little more exact, he wants to play. He's ready to be a starting goalie. And as we
Right.
all know, Nashville just locked up their star goalie for 8x8.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be, Saros is going to be around for a long time. So Askarov said he is not going to go back to the AHL.
No.
He will follow his contract. He will go to the training camp and compete for a spot. But past that, he will not go back to the AHL. So this kind of puts the Preds in a little bit of an interesting scenario.
I never truly, I don't like the idea of management telling a player you cannot be traded. I don't like that. If a player is unhappy, if a player does not want to be at your organization any longer, I feel like you should just send him off. Even if it's to a loser team. You know what I mean? Just if he wants to go somewhere, send him somewhere.
So
get something from him,
So on the inverse of that, do you believe that players should have the right to a full no move clause?
I think so. I think both cases can be true.
So you fully agree with basically how it is right now, essentially, other than the team saying no, we're not going to send you anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think both things are non-exclusive. I think that you can have a player be unhappy, and you can have a player tell you, I don't want to be here anymore, move me. But you can also have a player who says, I don't want to be moved, and you're not going to move me.
Right.
I think both things can be true at the same time.
So, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. It basically puts the Preds in two spots. They either have to give in and trade him, which they said they have no plans to do, or essentially just ignore him and tell him, hey, you got to go back to the AHL, which at that point, we'd probably see Askarov, ditch his contract, go to the KHL over in Russia, and Nashville will just have his rights for the end of time.
Right. Yeah.
So,
which
who knows?
Might happen. Very well might happen. The whole situation's, I think, kind of a mess, and sometimes you just gotta honor the player. And I'm very much a player sort of centric person when it comes to sports teams. I very much like their the players association more than I like league associations.
Right.
I want to see the players get their just dues. You know what I mean? I want to.
And I think the NHLPA definitely does an excellent job of that. Probably better than most of the major leagues.
Yeah.
They've really built that up. I mean, that's what the CBAs are for. So
very strong. NHLPA.
Everybody can get opinions and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting to see what comes out of this mess. We'll have to keep our eye on this as well. But you know who is straightening out their mess, Dashing? It's Montreal.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They, Columbus Blue Jackets trade Lane in a second to Montreal for Harris.
It's Laine.
Huh? Laine?
Patrick Laine. Yeah.
Laine. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Lane.
Lane.
Patrick Lane. Yes. Honestly, it's a good move. I think it's a good move.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a fair move. I think that, Montreal got their just desserts. I think Columbus got their just desserts. I think that's straight up 1-to-1 fair trade. even though there's a pick involved, but you know what I mean.
So I think I'm going to go a different route.
Oh,
I'm going to go a little bit hotter end.
okay.
I think Columbus got absolutely fleeced.
Really?
I know, obviously, we all know that Line did not want to be in Columbus anymore.
Correct.
He didn't want to go in that locker room. He didn't want to go out on the ice.
Yeah.
He wanted to trade. Columbus was, we'll find you a trade. We'll find you somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
They send him and a second round pick to Montreal
Yeah.
for Harris.
Yeah. Nice defenseman.
Is he though?
I mean, 131 games played. He's 24. He's a young guy. He's a defensive player. So, like, I mean,
right.
He's not going to be a top level talent. And I mean, Patrick, Laine he's pretty damn good. To send Laine and a second round pick for pretty serviceable young guy, I think that the upside in Jordan Harris is pretty decent. I mean, you just give the guy a shot. If it turns out that in the long run, Harris doesn't work out, maybe Harris is a flame out kind of player, then yeah, they probably got fleeced. But I think relatively unknown from 131 games and still being pretty young, there's still a lot of learning to do there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's how old did you say he was?
24.
He is 24. Yeah, he's 24. So he's and I'm throw this out there right now. The second round pick obviously coming over is solely for the cap relief that Laine brings because of how much cap he is taking up.
Yeah.
So that excluded, you're basically trading Laine for Harris. And Harris, while he is a young defenseman, which obviously they make mistakes, he's basically been a minute eater in Montreal. He's just sat there, been on the ice, played his game, and that's been it. And that might be a little bit of what Columbus needs because I couldn't even tell you Columbus's depth and their defensemen right now because they've just been so irrelevant the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Zach Werenski,
not bad.
Damon Severson, Ivan Provorov. I mean, yeah, it's not a very deep defense core in Columbus.
It's a bit top heavy.
Yeah, they're 1-2 great players.
Mm-hmm.
Once they're 3-4, I mean they're all right, and then after that it just really falls off. So
Jordan Harris could easily slide into that that 5 slot just right off the rip.
And I think that's exactly what they need is just a 5-6 defenseman that comes in and just eats minutes, can play up if you need him to, but just goes in there and gives your top heavy guys a break.
I think so.
I mean, there's only so much they can do. So I think it's still good for Columbus, but I definitely think that Montreal got the win in that trade.
I think in the long run, yeah. But I think that Columbus got what they needed out of this, and they didn't really try to reach for anything that they couldn't get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they got us. If anything, well, they did lose a second out of it, so I mean, that's not ideal. But I believe they still have. Let me check this real quick. Yes, they do still have their first round pick for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So I believe this was their second. Let's see here. Yes, this was their second round pick for not this coming draft, but the 2026 draft. So a little bit farther out, it's not going to be, hopefully, be that much of a deal for them. But yeah, I mean, I'll definitely be keeping my eyes more on Montreal this year with Laine over there.
Right.
They've been building a heck of a squad. They got that amazing defenseman and Demidov coming up. Not this year. I don't think they're having him come up, but it should be next year or the year after. He's pretty young still. So I think they want to have a little more time. But oh, you know what? I skipped right over. I said I had a whole another thing to talk about the Preds. I skipped right over it. So let's loop over to that real quick.
Okay.
So speaking of Colorado,
yeah.
Oh, this was all the way back at Johansson with Philadelphia. I don't know where I'm at. My brain's all discombobulated today. Speaking of Colorado, it is rumored that Landeskog has been out taking some ice lately, just skating around.
Yep, that he has. I mean, you were thinking that we were going to get a retirement. Think again.
Yeah, yeah,
Think again. I think that Landeskog is probably going to make one or two more goes at it. I think that he's an older guy. His knees are not what they used to be. He, but I think he's still got some steam left. I think we'll get one or two more good seasons out of Landeskog, and then he'll be ready to kind of hang it up.
yeah. Realistically, and who knows? He might come back. He might feel great, and he might play out the rest of his 4 years. Who knows?
Honestly, you could.
But realistically, he's coming back, and he's coming back to be so that Colorado has their captain back.
Yeah, I think
Because
that's literally what it is.
as good as McKinnon is, he shouldn't be focused. It's basically the Connor McDavid
Yeah.
style, Austin Matthews style,
Mhm.
where he would be a great captain. A lot of people, I'm sure, see him as the captain, but realistically, he needs to just focus on his game because he's top three best players in the league.
Exactly. Yeah.
So he's amazing with Ranton in there. They have middle stat now.
Hmm.
I mean, Makar on defense, 7 Ks. They're
Yeah.
they're stacked, so they really don't need a crazy performance from Landeskog. They
Hmm.
just need that captain influence. They need that premier left winger because Arturi Lehkonen is like their next best left winger, honestly, and he's a great, fantastic player. So that's not a big deal. But when you have a team with McKinnon and Rantanen, Middlestat, Nichushkin, if he makes it back in November, I
Hmm.
mean, realistically, how much do you need Landeskog outside of the captaincy? I mean, he's still an amazing player.
He's a great player, but
he's going to play well. I'm
the
sure if he's
captaincy, yeah,
injury aside, if he's feeling good, I'm sure he's going to play. He's
yeah,
going to play great.
he's gonna play a lot of minutes, yeah. But speaking of players coming back, players sticking around, 7/7.1 for Matty Bernier's Seattle Kraken. What a
Yeah.
deal! What a deal! First ever
So-
draft pick out of Seattle, getting paid.
Yeah, so the Kraken definitely, finally, it seems, making a decision to lock somebody up
Yeah,
long term in Matty Beniers. So that's their number one. I
Yeah.
believe he also has the captaincy. Let's see here. I don't know if this will tell me that actually. But even if he doesn't, I mean, he's definitely looked up to in the locker room.
Mhm.
Amazing player. I think he
Well,
had
42 goals, 103 points in 167 games.
I was gonna say, I think he's definitely almost looks like he's about a half a point per game player.
Yeah.
Which,
It's
the
great.
Kraken aren't anything spectacular. They had the good run in 2019.
Hey, even the trash gets taken out once a week.
Right, exactly. But they're on the mend. I would definitely say the Kraken are a team to watch this year.
Yeah.
To see how they improve. They had a lot of injuries last year. Not really much of a cap situation being a new team, but
They're fine. Yeah.
let's see. Actually, currently they have $4,286 in cap space, so they're hugging the cap.
They're hugging it, but they're right on the line. I don't think that they have any pending contracts coming up. Nothing that's going to hurt them this season anyway. But
They have a couple maybe third line guys, maybe a second liner in Yanni Gourde.
Mhm.
But I mean that's it. A couple of defensemen, but older defensemen, or they're 5'6". So
yeah.
I would expect if they don't play too super well this year, I would expect them to make a lot of moves coming up, either at the trade deadline or next summer.
I could see that. I could see that.
So definitely look for that resurgence in the Kraken.
Mhm.
Getting probably pretty close to their 2019, if not surpassing their 2019 selves. So
I think that they can definitely do it. They're definitely a young team that can do something like that. I think that they need to as well. With Utah coming up, that team coming in, I feel like Seattle sort of needs to play well to keep pace with like some of the newer teams, the Golden Knights and now Utah. I feel like if Seattle doesn't play well, it's going to sort of leave a stain on that team, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely a team to watch. Keep your eyes on. See how Matty Beniers plays after he's got this long term deal. I
Mhm.
foresee him relaxing and just playing hockey.
I think so.
Definitely probably going to have a good season here. And like I said, if they don't have a good season, well, they will definitely be very proactive. They do have that new coach over there now. Coming up from Silicon Valley.
Yep.
His name is escaping me right now.
I don't remember it.
People are screaming at their screens right now. Um,
Killing us.
and
They're
then
killing us right now over it.
I believe her name is Jessica Campbell coming in as the assistant
Yes.
coach there. So
Yep.
big changing of the guard behind the bench.
Mhm.
So that'll be interesting to see what Seattle does this year. I mean, I'm excited. I love watching the Kraken games. I think they're such a fun team to watch.
I really enjoy the Kraken. I actually have a Seattle Kraken sweatshirt. That's how much I love that team.
Oh, yeah. So there you go. There you go. So it's I mean, I think they're definitely the favorites out of them and the
For
Golden
sure.
Knights. We'll see where Utah ranks now.
For sure.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
it'd be interesting to see.
talking about young players, talking about young teams, how about some older guys talking about baseball now? The one of the oldest sports out there, Justin Verlander, Houston Astros, 41 years old, coming off of IR, inflammation in the right shoulder, and he just played Wednesday, August 21st against the Red Sox. Ended in a loss, yes. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Did you get a chance to watch that game? I know I did.
I did not actually. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
Wednesdays are my
unfortunate.
I'm out early night. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
it
it was
was not pretty. He didn't look great. I mean, I know he just came off IR. Last time he played was in June, I think, and against the Angels, I think was his last game, which he also did not play well. You know, he's 41 years old. How long does he have left?
oh god, it's got to be about time for him.
It's got to be, right?
It's got to be about time for him. Let's see. I don't even know how. Can you see? I don't even know how long you can see if his contract goes out till.
I don't actually know what his contract is, but I just feel like even if he's got, 3, 4 years left, which he shouldn't, 41 years old, there's no way, right?
Right.
But even if his contract, let's say, goes out 3, 4 years, he's got to hang him up. Like, his shoulders given out on him. He's been great. Don't get me wrong. Justin Verlander is probably still one of the best pitchers in the league. If I had to hand a guy a ball and say get on the mound, I'm I'm going to Justin Verlander.
I'm considering him definitely
He's
heavily.
definitely on my rotation. But I feel like, he's definitely older. He's definitely at the end of his line. You know, he's pitched 11 games this year only. 3-3 record, 3.92 ERA, 57 strikeouts, 1.19 on the whip. Not what he used to be. Not what he used to be.
Right. So originally he was designated for the right shoulder inflammation and came back for a little bit,
Hmm.
and then they sent him again in June for neck discomfort, which obviously is probably once again the right shoulder inflammation, just a little bit higher this time.
Yeah.
So it begs the question of, is there something more there possibly, or is he just old?
Sometimes it's just age. Sometimes it's just age. And I think that, 41 years old shows. It shows.
Yeah,
But
yeah, definitely. That's. I mean,
players,
I remember him coming into the league.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so it's been when did 2005.
a long time. Long
So
time.
many seasons with the Tigers, and now so many seasons with the Astros, and it's like,
Yeah.
you've been a great pitcher. Nobody is ever going to say that you weren't. So
No, just hang him up. Just hang him up.
hang him up.
Hang him
It's
up.
time to hang him up. Yeah, but hopefully he is feeling better at least and
Yeah,
can
hopefully his
finish out the
shoulder.
year for sure. And
Yeah, hopefully his
we'll
shoulder is
see what he
better.
decides to do afterwards.
Mm-hmm. But players coming back, players leaving, players getting injured. Austin Riley, 6 to 8 weeks, fractured hand, third baseman for the Braves. That hurts. That
Yeah,
hurts.
that's with a Braves team that's very much in the playoff race right now, trying to secure their spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough hit for them.
Yeah.
Um,
They've been injury plagued, all season, it seems like. But wow. Wow. That really kind of nails in the coffin almost, he got hit by a 97-mile-an-hour fastball in the
yeah,
first inning of that game that he got injured against
yeah,
the
that's just
Angels. And it just, that hurts.
yeah, that's just it's really unfortunate to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And they
obviously,
oh, sorry, go on.
yeah, I was just gonna say, obviously, with being a third baseman, he has a lot of hand strength, so that's why it's probably only a 6 to 8. I would say probably on the lower end of that, closer to the 6 week recovery for that.
Yeah.
Um, but it'll be interesting to see to what capacity he comes back, basically just in time for the playoffs, if not already in the playoffs.
Well, they had, I believe, a 2-game lead over the Mets, and they were going into a 3-game series against the Phillies.
Yeah, so they're 7 behind the Phillies right now, so it's not looking.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Phillies are playing very well, so it's not looking um, too great for them to win the division.
Mm-hmm.
But however, they are sitting in that third wild card spot right now for the NL. So
Right.
with a game and a half lead over the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see
Six to
if
eight
they keep
weeks.
if they keep up ahead of the Mets, who are have started to turn things around a little bit.
Well, the Braves already lost Acuna Jr. They lost their pitching ace Spencer Strider. Um, the several other key players: Ozzy Albies, center fielder Michael Harris II, catcher Sean Murphy's missed time. They are riding low for players left.
They're looking like the Indianapolis Braves this year. So
no kidding.
a
They
lot of
are
injuries going around, unfortunately.
not they're really sucking wind coming into the home stretch here, coming into the last month of the season. um but who is sort of surging coming into
Who's
this
not
last,
sucking wind?
who's not sucking wind, who
Yeah.
is blowing wind right now, is the San Diego Padres, 22
Oh
and
my gosh,
6.
just fantastic playing right now. I think actually that stat might be a little off. I believe they are 22-7 now. I
22 and
think
7.
they lost to the
They
Twins.
did lose to the
Um,
Twins.
I believe that was last night or this afternoon. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but otherwise, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
still a crazy streak that they got going on.
Yeah.
Definitely fighting. They're tied with the Diamondbacks, I believe, for a wild card spot right now.
They
Both
are
4 games ahead of the Braves.
72 and 56.
So it will be it'll be fun to see that race going on. Do we think, as the hottest team in baseball, that they're heating up at just the right time and might carry it all the way through?
Do I think they get a World Series out of this? No. No, I don't. Let's be realistic. It is the San Diego Padres. They are a great team. Don't get me wrong. They are surging at the right time, at the right place. But I think that there are better teams in this league. There are better teams in their division, that are just going to sort of say, all right, you were playing well, you were doing good, but let's relax a little. You know,
Right.
let's not get ahead of ourselves too much here. I do think this carries over, and I do think that they get a playoff spot, but I don't think that they go very deep in the playoffs. I think they actually are good for one or two series, though.
So if we take it right now, take the current standings right now and project into the playoffs here.
Mm-hmm.
So the Dodgers would obviously they pick who they play first.
Yeah.
Um, who do we assume they play?
Oof.
Do we assume they take the Braves?
Probably whoever comes out of that wild card game. No,
Yeah, I would assume.
I mean
Yeah, if the Braves.
that's gonna be a tough call. I mean, I feel like if we're gonna do a pick'ems, I feel like if the Braves do win that game, I do think they take the Braves because the Braves are, they're hurting. They're not gonna be. I mean, theoretically, they're not as injury ridden going into the playoffs, assuming they make it, right?
Right.
And this
Right.
is early picking because there's still a lot of baseball left to play. But man,
Well, actually, I misspoke. So the current, if we took it currently, the Dodgers and the Phillies would have the bye first round. So it would
yeah.
actually be the Brewers that are
Oh,
picking first.
right.
So if the Brewers pick the Braves, which I don't understand why they wouldn't,
Hmm.
that leaves the Diamondbacks and the Padres. Do we think that the Padres can surpass the Diamondbacks in that wild card game?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so. I think they're a better team than the Diamondbacks right now. Yeah.
So then that would move them on to face.
The Phillies, no?
The Phillies, yes.
Yeah.
Do they trounce the Phillies?
I think it'll be a tough series.
That's going to be
I
a
think it'll
tough
be a tough
series. I think
series.
I think if they make it through the Phillies, then they have a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's probably going to end up being the Dodgers and whoever
Hmm.
for the National League pennant.
I'm gonna be
Um,
honest. I think the Dodgers are going to the World Series this year. I just think they're that good of a team this season. They're seem like they are perennially just so goddamn good, and it irks me to no end because the Dodgers are the Dodgers. Hot take, hot pick right now. I'm gonna give you my World Series pick right now.
oh yeah. All
Dodgers,
right. I'm ready for it.
Yankees. Dodgers,
Dodgers,
Yankees.
Yankees.
Yep.
That sounds like something I would never want to see in my life.
Me too, but I feel like it's gonna happen. I just kind of like sniff it in the air,
Ugh. Yeah, no, you can miss me with that. I am not
Yeah.
interested.
I'm not either, but I look at the field right now for like, division leaders and I'm like, who else?
Right. Well, honestly, this is gonna pain me as much to say it as
Okay.
to hear what you just said. I am seeing my early prediction is Milwaukee,
Okay.
and I think Cleveland makes it.
Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting pick. You know what we should do? We should write these picks down and then right before the playoffs start, we should fill out a bracket and just like see where that shakes out when the
You know
official
what? We got a
bracket.
nice little note section right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, all right, so I'm gonna take the Brewers versus the Guardians,
Okay. And I got the Yankees and the Dodgers.
and you're taking the Yankees and the Dodgers.
Yep. Yankees v Dodgers. But yeah, so I think that would be a fun thing for us to do is when baseball playoffs come around, we do sort of like a round by round prediction.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll see here, and we'll even give our 5-2 or 4-3 whatever predictions as well. We'll
Yeah,
give you the series predictions as well,
exactly.
just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I think the Padres definitely, like I said, if they can make it, I think if they can make it past that first wild card game,
I
they
think
can
they have
make
a
it
good
past
shot.
the Phillies. They got a good
I
shot.
think they got a good shot. Shifting gears just a little bit. People, we're talking about old people. We're talking about old sports. Uh, Jose Canseco, been retired for a little while now, inducted into the A's Hall of Fame. Just quick thoughts on that.
I mean, obviously, amazing player. I mean,
Amazing.
obviously, you have to be to go into Hall of Fame or
Amazing.
do something phenomenal within, your community or whatever. Um, I have never been one to watch a lot of athletics, so not really too up on the athletics teams and their players, but
I'm not gonna lie to
I know,
you.
I know the name.
The most that I've ever seen Canseco play was when he was on the Red Sox for that very short stint that I can remember from my very early years of life. And then the very short stint, one season that he had with the Yankees. That's it. That's all I got from this memory bank of Jose Canseco. I feel like, you go down his career list and like, oh my God, what a player. But good for him. Good for him getting into the Athletics Hall of Fame.
See, the extent of me knowing him would have been his final year with the White Sox.
Yeah.
And I would have been like 4.
Right.
So
yeah,
it would have been very early. I probably wouldn't have realized who it is. I know the name. Mm-hmm. I've heard the name. But I mean, great player, incredible stats, so
yeah,
definitely deserving. Is he in Canton as well?
I don't actually know. I think he's on the card.
He's on the ballot? Let's see here.
I think so.
Let's check.
Tell me MLB.com. I don't see that he is in the MLB Hall of Fame.
Trying to just skim real quick here to see. Not seeing anything though. Oh wait. 2007. He can be elected to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's not in, but he is on the ballot.
Okay. That's what I thought. I thought he was on the ballot.
So
which, I mean, does he get in to the MLB Hall of Fame? I don't necessarily know if that's the case. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a small hall kind of guy. I'm a small hall. I don't believe in, large, everybody gets in sort of Hall of Fames. I don't believe
earn your spot on the wall.
Yeah. I think you need to be generational talent to get in the Hall of Fame. I know I'm going to get flack for that from certain people, but that's just my beliefs on it.
That being said, great, amazing addition to the Athletics Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And speaking of other people who are retired, we had a very large retirement announced today. Actually, I believe that was
legendary first baseman.
Thursday the 22nd here.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Votto is hanging him up.
Yep. Been in the league a long time. 2007.
I was going to say, I remember when he came into the league, too.
Yeah. Reds forever. Forever.
Reds legend. Blue Jays legend.
Yeah. Like, perennial player. Perennial. Like, I applaud his career. I think Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, for sure. Without a doubt.
Oh, definitely.
This iteration of the MLB Hall of Fame that we're currently getting, maybe eventually.
Definitely not first ballot.
Not first ballot. Definitely, I definitely don't think first ballot, but I think definitely, he does probably get in eventually. I think the MLB Association, or I can't remember if it's who votes them in anymore.
It's it's baseball veterans.
Okay, yeah.
So it's basically other players. It's similar to how hockey is now, where it's other players, important people within the hockey community that are voting. You're seasoned. You're seasoned people.
Hey, just throwing it out there. If we can get a slew of new viewers in here, people start watching us, maybe we can end up being
voting
people into the Hall of Fame.
Anyway. I'd love that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Sponsored by Major League Baseball soon.
Yeah. Sponsored by the Major Four.
The Major Four soon. Coming at you. But yeah, no, I think that he's a great player. He was a great player. I think he's gonna enjoy his retirement. He definitely earned his money, and applaud him. I applaud him.
So let's just go over here. His repertoire, his trophy cabinet here.
Mm-hmm. Lay it on.
All rookie team for the Reds, as well as rookie of the month election in September, which is a great time to be the rookie of the month.
Yes.
Multiple NL players of the week. 6-time NL All-Star.
Oh my God.
Won Hank Aaron Award in 2010. MVP in 2010. Gold Glove in 2011. Lou Gehrig in 2017. And I mean, best player of MLB.com 2017 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then another player of the month as well. Jeez. In 2021, actually. So a more recent one there as well. Yeah, I mean, just an amazing.
Yeah. Top to bottom.
Fantastic player.
Top to bottom.
And honestly, all of those awards, Cincinnati Reds. So,
Reds legend.
In a Reds team that was very hot and cold during that timeline.
They absolutely were. Absolutely.
So. Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Why did I think he played for the Blue Jays?
Because I think they traded him to the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, but I don't think he has. Yeah. I don't think he's played a game this season.
I don't think so. He either got traded or he signed in the offseason. I can't remember.
I think you're right. I think they traded him. He got designated down to AAA for some health stuff, I think, and never has came up to play. Never got called up. So, but obviously, I mean, what? How many years is that? 16 freaking years with the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
So. Incredible player, definitely well-deserved retirement coming his way.
Yeah, 2029, we'll see if he makes it in the MLB Hall of Fame, but I think this is another one like Jose Canseco. Nothing against him. I think Team Hall of Fame, I wouldn't put him in the MLB Hall of Fame, but we'll see if they vote him in eventually.
I could see him for sure getting in at some point, but definitely he'll be in the Reds Hall of Fame within 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have him in there, so.
I think so.
Yeah, so that we'll be glad to see.
Glad to see that happens.
Does anything still in the sports too? I mean, I'm sure he could be an amazing commentator.
I'd love to see him behind the desk, or I'd love to see him behind the bench. Become a first base coach or something like that.
Oh, definitely coaching job in the works for him at some point. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see. What will also be interesting to see, Dashing, and it's something I'm super excited about. The backyard sports franchises returning.
Good Lord.
Do you remember
I do.
Playing backyard baseball as a kid?
I do.
Oh, man.
Always hitting freaking home runs. I very much miss those games. I also very much don't miss those games because of how bullshit they are.
Oh yeah. So it will be it'd be interesting to see the updates coming through.
It'll be nice to see on new gen.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the original was okay. I mean, there's some of the later games, but the first one was
90s. It was in the
CD-ROM game.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. Like, we're talking way prehistoric, like floppy disk era. Which,
exactly.
Some of you Gen Zers don't even know what a floppy disk is.
I know my copy was on floppy disk.
Yeah, mine was too. That's, but, thinking about, like, backyard sports, it's like, I can't believe it's coming back, and I'm happy it is. Will I be getting it? Probably not. I'm more focused on, playing some of the more new gen games.
Right.
Albeit I haven't played them much in recent years because it just feels like they're all carbon copies of another. But it'll be nice to see something other than EA out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the EA game that's like once every half a decade you pick up a copy to see what's changed in the last, few years.
And then you realize that it's just a,
it's the same thing you were playing in 2008. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Graphics update. Graphics update.
It'll be interesting to see what new stuff they bring with it this time, and they also announced they're going to merchandise it. They're going to make maybe some a TV series or something like that. You know, they're really branching out into the franchise, so
that'll be cool.
That'll be awesome to see. But I think that's about all from us today, guys. So hope everyone enjoyed.
Yeah, and be sure to check us out. You know, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Prime. Honestly, wherever you might watch or listen, I added a slew of other ones. iHeartRadio. You know, tune in. I don't even know where else I sent it. Samsung. You know, whatever.
Or probably on freaking SoundCloud or something.
Freaking well, not SoundCloud, but but literally wherever you watch, we're probably there. But yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe where applicable.
Enjoy your weekend, guys.
Yeah, we're not rambling. Be free.